In today's video, we are going to address a common question that people often ask themselves. Why am I so bad with money? If you've ever struggled with managing your finances, you are definitely not alone. In today's video, we are going to talk about why you might be bad with your money and how you can change that so you can improve your money situation. Let's dive right in. All right, let's talk about the different reasons on why you're asking yourself, why am I so bad with money? And as I'm going over these different reasons, they may be true, but the very last reason that I'm going to talk about, I think, is the truth for most people. So make sure and watch until the very end. All right, the first reason on why you are so bad with money could be your lack of financial education. Financial education is not taught in our schools as we are growing up, so a lot of people lack that financial knowledge. I wish it was taught in every single school, that it was required, because we would be a lot better with our money if we were taught at a young age how to manage our money. So of course, in order to overcome this reason of the lack of financial knowledge, is to learn about finances, which is exactly what you're doing in today's video. And there are a number of other ways that you can do this. There are podcasts out there about money. There are even books. And speaking of books, I do have a book that I recently published, You Will Be Financially Free. And it goes over how to manage your money in order to become financially free. I will leave a link below in the description. You can click on that and get your own copy. But you can also take courses or even work with a financial coach. There are lots of different ways to build up your financial knowledge. And since we are going to have money in our lives for our entire lifetime, we definitely want to get really good at managing our finances. And I know a lot of people grew up in homes where finances were never taught and their parents were just not good with money. So I understand that it can be a lot more difficult with the background that we do have. But we can always make changes and make progress. We can start to educate ourselves about being better with our money. And I even continue to do this. I have learned a lot about money since I started my own business, helping people be better with their money, right? There are different strategies like tax loss harvesting that I've learned about, and just different wealth building strategies that aren't taught every single day. So definitely start to learn and continue to learn about finances. The second reason on why I am so bad with money could be behavioral and emotional factors. There could be a lot of impulse spending going on, or emotional spending, or using money as some type of coping mechanism. There seem to be a lot of emotions tied around money. But the sooner we can realize that money is just a tool, a resource that can help us progress financially, the better off we are going to be if we can try to let go of any negative emotion around money. And I do go into more detail about how to overcome impulse spending in another video. I will leave a link above. You can check that out later on. But we want to be aware of our emotions that we have tied to money and the behaviors that we have around money. If we are constantly hoarding our money, that is not healthy either. We want to be able to be generous and help other people. We want to take a second and pause before we spend money and be more conscious with our spending. Why are we spending this money? Is it to feel better about ourselves? Or is it something that's going to bring us lasting joy? We can just become more conscious with what we are spending our money on, and that will help improve our money skills. I know I have definitely done this when I had a certain goal I was working toward. I wanted to purchase another property. I wanted to save up for that down payment. And when I had that specific goal, I was able to cut back on a lot of my unnecessary spending. I didn't spend as much money on clothing, which I was spending a lot of money on. I would just think, all right, is this purchase going to bring me closer to my goal of the down payment for a property, or is it going to take me further away? And if it was taking me further away, then I wasn't going to make the purchase, unless of course it was a necessary expense, like having groceries or something like that. And also, setting up a spending plan is going to help with this. If we can see exactly how much money is coming in and how much is going out and where it's going out to, we can start to analyze that and think, all right, I'm spending a lot of money going out to eat. I need to adjust that, and we can make progress. And this actually goes along with reason number 3 on why am I so bad with money? And this is having a lack of a spending plan or a financial plan. If we don't have some sort of plan with our money, then we are definitely going to be bad at money. We're just going to spend it whenever. We'll swipe that credit card and spend more than we are actually making and rack up a lot of debt and not even focus on paying off that debt. So make sure that you have a spending plan in place so that you can see how much is coming in and how much is going out, and making sure that is either zero or less than what you are bringing in. I personally like to use a Google Sheet and then a free app. It's called Empower. It used to be called Personal Capital. And that way I can see my full financial picture in seconds. I can hook all of my financial accounts to Empower. I can see everything I have spent money on. I can see all of my income that has come in, and I can start to make progress because I'm actually looking at my money situation. If Empower is something you're interested in, I will leave a referral link below. You can click on that and set up a free Empower account. But nonetheless, make sure you are keeping an eye on your finances so that you can make improvements along the way. And you definitely want to have a plan for your money. This has made a big difference for me. Like I said before, when I set a specific goal, then I am more inclined to put money toward that goal rather than spend it on unnecessary things. And I know when I have helped my clients do this, set up a financial plan with them, then they are able to make improvements. They're able to see, oh, I do have money to save or money to invest, and then I can help them invest that money. And that way they have a complete financial freedom plan. So it's very exciting when we have a plan for money. It is not constricting at all. What is constricting is when we are spending too much money and then we have a lot of debt, and then we always feel strapped for cash. That is very constricting. We want to make sure we are doing the opposite. And then item number 4, and I kind of mentioned this one, but it's having unhealthy spending habits and lifestyle inflation. So if we are just swiping that credit card all of the time and not really paying attention to our money, we are definitely going to be bad at money. And then also if we receive a raise and then we just spend even more money, we increase our spending based on our raise that we've gotten, that is lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep. And we definitely don't want to do that. We want to have a plan for our money, especially if we know a raise is coming. Then we want to have a plan for that raise before we get it. That way we are very intentional on where that money is going. We could put that entire raise toward investing, or even take a certain percentage of that raise and put it toward investing. We want to make sure we are prioritizing our needs over our wants, making sure that we can cover our essential expenses, our rent payment or our mortgage payment, our utilities, make sure that we do have groceries, that we do have food to eat. And it's not that we need to get rid of unnecessary expenses, it's that we can really focus in on what is important to us, spend our money there, and then cut back on the rest. And to share an example, I have a friend that I worked with at my 9-to-5 job, and she was really good with her money. She told me that she knew she was getting a raise and she was going to put all of that into her 401k. So the extra amount she was getting would just go straight into her 401k. And she didn't even miss that money, and it was working in the background for her. And then reason number 5 on why I am so bad with money is because we have a lack of financial discipline and accountability. If we don't have any discipline in what we are spending our money on or how much money we are saving or investing, we are definitely going to be bad with money. So we need to have some sort of discipline. We need to set up a savings plan, an investing plan. But the thing is, we can make this a lot easier on ourselves by automating it. You can set up an automatic transfer from your checking to your savings every time you get paid. You can also do that with investing. You can automate your investing. And if that is something you're interested in investing in the stock market and automating it, I do talk about this in my free masterclass. I will leave the link below in the description. Also, when you have someone to be accountable to, it's going to make a big difference because you know you have to report to them. You naturally want to be better with your money if you know you are being held accountable. And you can even do this with a friend. If you know someone wants to be better with their money and you do as well, then you can be each other's accountability partners and check in with each other every single week. You can set specific goals that you're working toward and let them know your progress. I have done this with my own business. I have a mastermind partner that I check in with every single week. and we talk about our goals for our businesses and what we have worked on or what hasn't worked out so well. But it's so nice to have that accountability because I know I have to report to her every single week. All right, and now I want to talk about the real reason I think you may be bad with money. And this is because you believe you are bad with money. We really need to change our beliefs around money if we are thinking we are so bad at managing our money. Honestly, if we believe that is true, then that is just a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to be bad with our money. So start with your mindset and start to change that and say, you know what? I'm not bad with money. And find evidence where that is true. Were you able to save $5? Or were you able to pay off some of your debt? Or were you able to donate to a good cause? There are so many different ways to be good with money. We just sometimes don't see those items. And a lot of times that could be because we are comparing ourselves to someone else. We are all on our own journeys, our own paths. We cannot compare our journey to someone else's. They are so different. So honestly, take a good look at your finances and what beliefs you have around money. Because the better our beliefs are around money, then the better actions we are going to be taking. If you believe you are bad at money, you're going to continue to swipe the credit card and rack up a lot of debt. But if you change that belief and say, you know what, I am good with money, then you're going to pause before you swipe that credit card and think, you know what, I'm good with money. I'm not going to swipe my credit card and go into more debt. I know mindset has made a big difference for me around money. I didn't realize that I could invest in properties and be successful with it. I have a friend who's very successful with it, and I started thinking, all right, well, maybe if he's doing it, I could do something similar. So I started asking him questions, and my mindset started to change, and I thought, you know what? I can invest in real estate. I really can do this. So I took the action and I made it happen. I invested in my first property and then I did it again and again and again. But it started with me believing that I could actually do that I can be a successful investor. So once you start to change your beliefs, make sure you are taking the actions that are going to enforce that belief. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people know the basics of money. They know they should be spending less than they are making and saving some of their money and starting to invest some of their money and paying off their debt. So I think it's nice to be reminded of them, but really understand your true beliefs. And if you need to change some things in those areas, then change those things and the evidence is going to follow. We are responsible for our own actions. And while yes, maybe we weren't raised in a home that had good financial skills, we make our own choices now. We can decide how we want to handle our own money. The sooner we realize we are in control and that no one else has control over us, the sooner we can improve our financial situations. And I'm not saying that is going to be easy, but I am saying it is possible. We can't just be blaming other people for the actions that we are taking or the thoughts that we are having. Okay, hopefully this video is going to help you be good with money. If you found it helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more awesome content from me, make sure and check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.